It's YouTube Wednesday! I have a plaster head form here. Happens to be me. Doesn't have to be you. It's got to be a good sized head form because the mask is going to go over a face. If you use a wig head, it's going to be too small. I also have in a bucket some 4 to 5 ounce leather that I have soaked overnight. I've actually been soaking this one for a while longer, but overnight works. And this is a little thinner. This is definitely on the 3 to 4 ounce side. And to make a mask, basically, I'm just going to fit this over this form and push it in really good. I'll hold it in place with fabric and let that dry. But right now, I'm just looking to see where I should cut it to try and get the best mask shape. So I have, and again, I'm going for something abstract that I can put on a deranged mask. You might go for something else, but basically I'm showing you how to shape and form leather over a bust. It's here, and up here I've got a little bit extra, and I really want to pinch that together and make kind of a leather vein. See, and that's just going to add some texture and some detail by the time it gets done there. I'm just pulling it aside. I'm using some pretty stout scissors to cut this because leather is tough to cut. These scissors happen to be from Harbor Freight. My favorite scissors in the world come from Tandy Leather and their leather shears. They're about 30 bucks a pair, but they are worth it. I'm fighting the curse right now. I'm in between 3 shops that I'm working at, so some of my tools are here, some of my tools are there. It's almost worth buying 3 sets of those scissors because I love having them. Okay. This went here. Now mine's going to go on a deranged mask, so I want this look. I'm not doing a look exactly like you should do. I'm doing my own mask. You do your own mask. You want to copy this one exactly? Go right ahead. But whenever I put a little crease and a fold in it like that, it really does add quite a bit of strength to the finished piece. Also, where there's too much and I want to try and get it round, I'm using these folds as darts in order to bring that together here. I need more over here, but I need less right there. The darts are both aesthetic and practical effects in the leather. Over here I've got this nice extra bit of fabric. I'm going to go ahead and cut this into kind of triangle shapes. And these I'm going to roll. I'm going to check all my folds right now, make sure they're good and in there. I'm having an idea where my straps are going to go. Actually, I want to get an eye fold in here because that makes the mask look a little meaner. And I'm going for a little bit of scary. It'll also help make it fit a little better. Okay. There we go. And let me grab a mallet and I'll show you something else. I have some gear parts that came out of a broken drill. And basically, I can just kind of hold them up there and hit it, and it's going to give me that great pattern. Kind of putting my fingers in one spot and moving around. Alright, I just wanted some textural difference. I think that I've gotten it. See, I want another little face fold here, so I'm going to use my pliers. Now I've got little teeth on my pliers that I'm using. You'll need smooth pliers if you mind teeth marks. Or I can just tape these over with duct tape and then start squeezing it down. I'm just pushing up a little bit and then squeezing with those pliers. I'm just using my hands to squeeze and reinforce all of the folds I've made, including over here on the side where I've got those curls. I'm going to set this in the sun now and let it dry. Exact same process. I have my leather that has been soaking. Figuring out the way it covers the most of this face. I'm also just going to cut a slit into it and allow it to fold over itself. And that's another way that I can take up slack on the outside edge. Have a bit of breathable fabric. This happens to be beef netting. You don't have to use beef netting. You can use any fabric that breathes really well. And if I want a tighter fit to my leather, to my form, then I can use the beef netting to go right over top. And I can just pull this tight as I can get it and just start tying it off. And let's make sure that I'm lined up really nice. And I'm going to go ahead and cut again into my beef netting. Now I've got two more places where I can tie it. Just using the pliers to get that nice and tight. Now wind can go by this if I put this in front of the fan, and it'll take the moisture out of the leather, but it also holds it nice and tight to the form. I'm going to sit this by the fan. So I have my leather mask that is now dried out. It's still flexible because it's leather, but it's much more rigid. It holds its own shape, and I'm going to go ahead and decorate it a bit. Throwing it back on my head form. I'm actually going to use leather stain on leather. Imagine that. Working with leather stain, you should always have gloves on because it will stain your fingers pretty good. Now you can see where I hammered in those gears and whatnot. A little bit of detail, a little bit of just relief on it. Obviously I could do more, could do less. It all depends on the style of what you're going for. These has two sides. One looks like a mushroom cap, pretty much, just like that. It's got a real flat, shiny, a little bit on the left, like a top hat almost, but not quite as tall. This is like a real tall and skinny top hat, and these two fit together through the leather like that. Then when you hit them with a hammer or when you squeeze them down with pliers, they expand inside of each other and hold the leather together. I'm going to put these in all those holes that I just did for the straps.